Start now. It's 6 o'clock. Folks are ready. We want to hear
Okay.
from
Do
you.
it.
Take it away.
Let's do it.
Good job. Great. Good evening, everybody. My name is Jackie, and I'm excited because I've gone through all of the institutes, and now I'm part of the leadership team. How about you, Marlene?
Pues muy emocionada también de estar hoy aquí. Me gustaría compartir un poco, sobre mi historia de vida. Buenas tardes a todos. Es un placer estar aquí hoy con todos ustedes. Mi nombre es Marlene García. Nací y crecí en Guadalajara, Jalisco, México. Mis padres solo cursaron hasta el 6º grado de educación primaria, pero yo fui muy afortunada. Siempre me apoyaron en mis estudios. Me gradué de la universidad. Soy licenciada en educación en el área de audición y lenguaje. Por razones personales tuve que emigrar a este país donde resido desde hace ya 23 años. Mis hijos son Ángel, de 9 años, que cursa actualmente el 4º grado, y Oliver, de 7 años, que también cursa ahorita el 1er grado y van en la escuela aprendiendo. Soy una madre comprometida y preocupada porque mis hijos reciban una educación de calidad, que se motiven y que no solo sea mi sueño, sino que sea el de ellos el ir a la universidad y graduarse. Ella me ayudó a darme cuenta que nosotros como padres tenemos el poder de ayudar y cambiar, y que no estamos solos en esta lucha. Unión es igual a poder, y me encanta esta fórmula. Quiero en un futuro escuchar que las mejores escuelas están aquí en Oakland y no andar buscando escuelas fuera de otra comunidad porque el nivel educativo sea bajo. Seamos padres comprometidos y exigir los recursos que nuestros maestros y nuestros niños necesitan para una educación de calidad. ¿Cómo podemos nosotros como padres lograr este cambio? ¿Qué vamos a hacer nosotros como líderes? El camino nunca es fácil, pero no es imposible lograrlo. Estoy con mi capa de poder bien empoderada para lograrlo. ¿Quién está conmigo? Los invito a poner reacciones. ¿Quién me apoya? ¿Jackie?
Again, my name is Jackie, and my story of self is that I was born and raised on Sunnyside in Oakland, California, mother of 2, one deceased son, one disabled visually impaired daughter, and my granddaughter goes to Cox Academy in Deep East Oakland. I've attended public schools in Oakland all my life. I've studied cosmetology, taught early childhood education, therapeutic child development, and currently culinary instruction at a reentry program for men that were incarcerated. Though I've recently become disabled myself due to unfortunate circumstances, I never let anything steal my joy. My granddaughter has a reading intervention specialist she worked with at Cox Cat because she was reading below grade level. I think the pandemic had a huge impact on her with distance learning. I challenged the school to become more proactive in communicating with families about where their students are. During a Cox Black Family Council meeting, I learned about the Lit for Literacy program that FIA was offering for parents, and I signed up so I can learn how to support my granddaughter at home as her primary caretaker. What also charged me to challenge myself and get involved in her academic success was learning that most Black students in Oakland cannot read at grade level. I am also part of the parent leader team that secured $28 million in Prop 51 funding to renovate Cox building.
Yes.
I want to see all children succeed in their learning, and I will be able to read at or above grade level and feel a responsibility to share what I've learned with other families. That is why I am a FIA leader, and that is why that we at FIA care about. I know parents have a lot of power to change the education system in Oakland. We are excited to get started. Next, we will go over our via Zoom norms.
Wait, can we take a quick pause there? Can we take a quick pause there? Because I think both of y'all deserve a field whoop whoop for the work that y'all both are doing. All right. Susan, you want to lead us through whoop whoop? You wanna get us started with that?
Yes, Marlene and Jackie, those are such beautiful stories. And just hearing all of your amazing work that you're doing, like Javi said, we want to show appreciation. So if y'all are new to FIA, we have a tradition. It is called a FIA Woo Woo. And that's just how we get some energy going, set the tone, get the vibes up. So on the count of 3, you're going to turn on your microphone. So you're going to come off mute. And we're going to say woo woo really loud, okay? As loud as you can do it. All right? So I'm going to count us down. 1, 2, 3. Now, I think we can do better than that. We got to do it one more time. One more time. Okay, everybody come off mute. Everybody come off mute. Use your outside voice. 1, 2, 3. Here, Marlene.
¿Ya te vas? Ay, qué.
Let's rock and roll. Next slide.
Las reglas.
Who's manning our slides?
Michael, if you can go to the next slide, please.
Las reglas de Zoom. Para continuar, vamos a invitarlos a repasar nuestras normas de Zoom, que es por favor renombrarse. Queremos saber su nombre y su escuela. Es muy importante saber cuántas escuelas tenemos y pasar la voz y poner reacciones. Si tienen alguna pregunta, levanten la mano o pueden escribir preguntas también en la cajita de chat. Y por favor, mantengan sus micrófonos apagados cuando no estén participando para que sea más, la comunicación esté bien. Gracias, Jackie. ¿Podemos ver la segunda diapositiva de la misión de FIA, por favor?
Our mission as FIA is to champion the values. Our mission as FIA is to champion the values of quality, equity, and access in Oakland public education. I need 3 volunteers to help read out the pillars.
I'll do it.
Sure.
It's the number 1, right?
Number 1.
Building the personal leadership capacity of parents, youth educators, and school leaders to be champions for quality schools by training and coaching and organizing and leadership.
Great. Can I get another volunteer to read number 2?
I can read it. Number 2, fighting for the right of underserved students to gain access to high quality public education by ensuring that our voices, stories, and experiences are heard by education policy decision makers.
Great. Number 3.
I can read it. Leading a citywide movement of organizations to align and channel their collective power through our issue and civic engagement campaigns.
Great. That was awesome. Which pillar is resonating with y'all? If it's pillar 1, building leadership capacity, then use the clapping hands emoji in the chat box. If it's pillar 2, fighting for students, use the heart emoji. If it's 3, leading a citywide movement, use the celebration emoji. Marlene?
Perdón, tenía mi micrófono cerrado. Ah, para mí, yo pienso que es más liderar el movimiento porque tenemos para encauzar nuestra organización y canalizar nuestro poder, porque nosotros como padres tenemos poder. Gracias. Ahora, si pueden poner, por favor, los valores de FIA. Ok. Santiago, ¿le gustaría ayudarnos a leer los valores de FIA, por favor?
Sí, buenas tardes. Tengo un inconveniente, a mí no me llegaron los paquetes.
Oh, pero le aparecen allí en la cámara, ¿no? ¿O no lo están apareciendo? Nada más recórrele para un lado y ahí va a aparecer FIA valores.
Permítame. Ok. Pero no puedo leer en inglés.
¿O no puede leer en inglés?
No.
¿Alguien más que quiera ayudarnos a leer los valores de FIA?
I can help. So I'll read the first one.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So agency. We built the agency and leadership of parents to advocate for their children's educational achievement individually and collectively. If you
No tengo ese por-
one, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And I'm gonna popcorn. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. I gotta popcorn somebody because I think that's how we plan tonight. Miss Myra Gudino. Can you do the next one for us?
They're in English. Maybe Christina can read it.
Okay, yeah. Somebody else. Christina, what you got?
Am I moving on to science-based?
Yep.
Okay, science-based. We champion a vision for a high-quality schools, including a science-based approach to reading for all students. Let's see. Ori Fuentes.
Or maybe Tanisha, can you read it?
Yes, I got it. Can you go back on the screen?
Inglés.
Thank you. Oh, there we go. They can go ahead and get it. There go.
I can read it in Spanish if y'all want.
Go ahead, Monica.
Is it the next one? Asociación.
Ahora sí lo puedo leer.
Ok, gracias, Santiago.
Ok. Construimos a la agencia y el liderazgo de los padres para abogar por el logro educativo de nuestros hijos de forma individual y colectiva. Creemos que el acceso equitativo a una educación de calidad tiene lugar cuando existe una solidez, comunicación, colaboración y responsabilidad entre el hogar y la escuela. Abogar por una visión de escuelas alta calidad incluye un enfoque de lectura basado en la ciencia para todos los estudiantes. Los padres deben conocer los estándares académicos, los datos y el progreso académico de sus hijos para ser socios plenos en la educación de sus hijos.
Gracias, Santiago. Ahora quiero preguntarles cuál valor resuena más con ustedes. Si lo quieren poner en la cajita de chat o alguien que quiera comentarnos, puede levantar su mano.
Hola, buenas tardes. Para mí se me hace mejor el de asociación.
Ok, gracias. ¿Alguien más? Marlene. ¿Te gustaría compartir? ¿Cuál resuena más contigo?
Hola, sí, buenas tardes. En lo personal, para mí resuena mucho lo que es ah, como la inclusión de nosotros los padres en la educación de nuestros hijos, pero si nos vamos a ver, los 4 valores son muy importantes, pero sin embargo yo me inclino más por por el valor de los padres, porque es muy importante el poder conocer y el poder tener el conocimiento y entender la importancia que tiene todo esto para la educación de nuestros hijos.
Excelente, muchas gracias, Marlene. Pues sí, yo en lo personal quisiera compartirles que el valor también que me resuena más es el derecho de saber, porque para mí yo siento que nosotros como padres el tener conocimiento nos ayuda para poder apoyar, saber leer los datos, ver en qué podemos apoyar más a nuestros hijos. Entonces, para mí, yo siento que el derecho de saber es el que me resuena más. Ahora vamos a pasar a la siguiente diapositiva, por favor, de la credencial de FIA. Y hablaremos un poco sobre FIA. Es una organización dirigida para padres y jóvenes, como todos ustedes. Anclado en 45 escuelas charter y distritales. Nos invita a poner los invito ahora a poner en la cajita, por favor, las escuelas. Muy importantes saber cuántas escuelas estamos participando en el instituto el día de hoy. Y también informar y dar a conocer que FIA ha capacitado a más de 500 padres y líderes jóvenes en Oakland. Solo 2 de cada 10 estudiantes afroamericanos y latinos en Oakland pueden leer al nivel de grado. Y solo 1 de cada 10 estudiantes afroamericanos y latinos están al nivel de grado en matemáticas. ¿Eso está bien con ustedes? Para mí no, es inaceptable. FIA cree que todos los estudiantes de Oakland merecen un acceso equitativo a una educación pública de calidad. Así que por favor les pido, quien esté conmigo de una reacción o póngalo ponga un emoji de que está conmigo y en la cajita, por favor. Y quiero pasar ahora la voz a Jackie. Gracias.
You muted, Miss Jackie.
Unmute, Jackie.
So where are we going in Winter Leader Institute 2023? We have a lot to cover during this institute, and we want to make sure we are here for every session to make sure we don't miss out. Today, we will focus on session 1. Our topic is our power to lead. We will focus on the organizing principle. Organizing is about people, and people are about issues. Our trainings today will focus on building the leadership capacity of our leaders and making sure we are all able to have a clear personal credential. How are we all feeling about that? Let's have 2 people come off mute and answer what they're excited about as for session 1. Anybody?
I can share. My name's Monica. My kids are from Lighthouse. I'm excited because I really, really want to learn how to lead parents. I really, really want to. I got entrusted a super, super cool job by the principal. He asked me to bring together, a couple of parents who are willing to make a difference. And so I'm so excited. I hope that I get a lot out of this.
Great, you will. Can I get one more person to share?
Hello. I want to say that I'm excited for this session because throughout my enrollment in school, I've been basically just working with students, and I think it's very cool and eye-opening to be working with families as well and parents. So I'm excited to be collaborating with you all.
Great. Thank you. Okay. So now
Podemos
next part.
pasar a la oh, perdón, pensé que, oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Next slide.
Podemos pasar a la siguiente diapositiva.
Melanie, está en mudo.
Oh. Benjamín, ¿nos podrías ayudar a leer el propósito y el resultado?
Yes, of course. So our purpose is to anchor FIA parents and youth in the current status of quality public education in Oakland and prepare them for action.
Y el resultado también, por favor. Gracias.
Yeah. Parent and youth leaders are rooted in their own self-interest, are aware of inequity in education, and are motivated and prepared to take action. That is outcome.
Gracias. Después de saber el propósito y el resultado, ¿estamos listos para actuar? Porque yo sí. Déjenme algunas reacciones para saber quién está ya listo con su capa de poder para empezar a trabajar. Jackie.
Great. First part of our training is going to be about the state of Oakland education. Then we'll go into breakout groups, and we'll come back into the big group and do our organizing training on the power to lead. We will do a second breakout group, and then we will do next steps and closing. This is our agenda for today. Now, we are going to get into our first training for the evening. Are y'all ready? Let's get into our FIA whoop whoop. Okay, I'm gonna count us down. 1, 2, 3.
Woo,
Awesome. Now, great. Now we're going to go ahead and pass it on to Kimmy King, FIA CEO and co-founder.
Thank you so much, Miss Jackie. Can you hear me all right?
Great.
Yes. Miss Jackie, I want to shout you out. Your testimony was so moving. Thank you for telling us who you are, where you're from, and who you're here for. I love the power of a grandparent, I have to say. And you are such a powerful parent and grandparent. So thank you so much for being here. Marlene, you did an amazing job kicking us off as well. I just feel like I got to step up my game because I'm following two extremely capable leaders tonight. So thank you for getting us started. I'm so honored to be with you guys. I am one of the co-founders of Families in Action and the CEO. And I'll just tell you a little bit about me. When I was growing up, when I was really little, I lived in a foster home, and I realized later in life that my foster mother, who was such an amazing person, never had the chance to learn how to read. And I just thought, why do we have an education system that leaves so many people behind? And so I've just been working for 25 years to try to change that reality so that every one of our kids not only just gets an education, but gets a great education. So that's what I'm here for tonight. Thank you for having me. All right, let's go to the next slide. And can I just say, I know we're a few minutes behind. Can you just tell me, like, do I have 10 minutes? Because I can do this in 10.
You have 16 minutes.
Okay, all right, even 16, even better. So who remembers this? Who looked at our quality report last year or came to our data study sessions? Does anybody remember seeing this? Can I just see you get active in the chat box? Does this look familiar to anybody? A little bit. Safisha remembers. Anybody else? Okay, this might be a little bit new. I like having new folks. Basically what we looked at, for example, we looked at math results last year. And this is the reality for the city of Oakland, guys. 1 out of 10 Black and brown students can do math on grade level. Now, how are we going to get a good job or be ready for college if 1 in 10 of our kids can actually do math at grade level? It's not happening, right? It's not happening. This is serious. So this is what we looked at in 2022. Now, the 2023 data is fresh off the presses. So what we're looking for tonight, what I want you to see is, does the data look better? Or does it look the same, or does it look worse? Okay, you guys ready to study that with me? Let me see if I can get some reactions out there. Let's see, I got a thumbs up from Javi. Let's see, Daisy's smiling at me. I got a thumbs up from Christina. Thank you, Christina. All right, we're ready to go. Good stuff. Thanks, Javi. Thanks, Jordy. Let's go to the next slide. I know I'm not good with this. The question says, are you good with this? Guys, this is what our data looks like for 2023, okay? We've got, see those fat blue bars? That's the average for all students, okay? So you know we want our kids at least at the average, right? But what we see is that orange bar across the top, those are white students doing the best of any group, but really 60% at grade level is not that much to write home about. Am I right? Then we've got our purple bar. We got our Asian students a little bit below 60%. We're going to keep moving down. And the next bar we have is light blue, which is our Latino students, coming right in with our low-income students. Then at just about 2 out of 10 Black students, African-American students are at grade level in reading. And then our lowest bar, who can tell me, who can hop off mute and tell me which group is actually the lowest in reading across the city of Oakland? Can someone help me out with that? Somebody bold. I see it in the chat box. Can somebody help me with that? Jump off mute.
Would that be our kids in special ed?
Yes, ma'am. That's exactly right. So just about 10% of students who have IEPs are able to read at grade level. So I just want to take that in. I want to take a breath. I want to take in some air, because we know this is a big deal, okay? And what we're seeing, folks, is things aren't changing fast enough, okay? And it's a problem, okay? So let's take a look. Let's look at math. Is math any better? Let's go ahead and take a look. Great. So math, we're actually doing a little worse. There was a little growth, a little teeny bit of growth citywide in math. But if you can look, white students took a big dip. Asian students below 60% are at grade level. Low-income students, just about 20%. So 1 in 5 students, if you're low income, are at grade level. Next up, Latino students. Next up, African-American students. And once again, our SPED students are not thriving in math. They are not reaching grade level, just about 1 in 10. So this is so disturbing, guys. This is why we're here. Is every one of us is here, just like Miss Jackie said, because she wants her kids to get the best. She wants her grandkids to get the best education possible. What they're showing us is just, it's not happening. Okay, it's not happening for enough of our kids. So let's go to the next slide. And everybody, did you have a chance to get? I know we sent you in the mail. We sent you a packet with materials for the Institute. It's like a little binder, and it has materials for each session. If you might, I see somebody maybe didn't get it yet. Did anybody get their binder yet at home? Great. Okay, sometimes the mail, especially around the holidays, is really slow. So if you haven't gotten it, please look out in the mail, because you will be getting it. But you're going to actually have this data in your packet, okay? So if you want to follow along, if you've already gotten your packet, go ahead and open that up. But what I wanted to show you is, in the city of Oakland, what's the total number of public schools? How many public schools do we have to choose from? Can anybody help us out with that?
108.
Correct. 108. We got a lot of choices. What number of schools made significant growth in ELA? And I define that as 5% or better growth. What number of those 108 schools really grew last year? Help me out, somebody.
17, Kimmy. 16.
17. So just 16% of our schools. I know my heart dropped when I looked at that reading slide we just went over, and just 17 schools have really hustled over the last year and made significant growth in reading. I don't know about you, but if I'm looking at this data, I'm like, this is a crisis. We got to funnel all of our energy into changing this data. And what we're seeing is just 17 schools are succeeding at this point in this last year of really ramping up that academic focus and ramping up those academic outcomes. Okay. How about mathematics? A little better, a little better. How many schools made significant growth in math?
25.
25. So just about 23% of schools, so about 1 in 4 schools actually made 5% or growth or better. I'd like to see at least 50% of our schools making significant growth. Really, with this data, I'd love to see 75% of our schools making really big growth, right? So what does this mean? If we've got 16% making good growth in ELAs, 23% hustling in math, what is going on with the rest of our schools? What number of schools made no growth in ELA or went backwards, actually dropped? Help me out here. What number? Somebody who hasn't chimed
59.
in. 59 schools were 0 or negative growth. Just take that in. Over half of our schools didn't make a lick of growth, didn't make 1% of growth, or some of them went back. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling the urgency here. And what is going to need to change, parents and youth, for us to get serious about making an impact on this data? Thank you so much, Vivica. Let's go to math. What number of schools made 0 growth or went backwards?
65.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Daisy. Thanks, Miss Jackie. So 60% of schools made 0 growth in math, or actually students did worse than 2022. I don't know how you feel about that. I'm highly concerned about the red. Over half of our schools, the vast majority of our schools made no growth or went backwards. Excuse me? That's tough. That's tough to take. But I don't want to be downer, because we're going to talk about this in our small groups. Okay. I want to acknowledge, see those schools in the green? I want to shout them out. I want to acknowledge them. Can we go to the next slide? Take a look at the slide and you'll see this. I know Abrar's like, I can't even comprehend this. I'm totally with you. How does this happen? How can this be the status quo? Thank you, Abrar. I'm totally with you. Michael, can you take us to the next slide, sir? So let's shout out. Okay. I don't want to just be down on people, because there are really some schools that really got some gains last year. If someone could just let's popcorn out these names and how much they grew. Okay. So I'll do the first one. In reading, Ames College Prep High School grew 24% last year. That's right. That's right. That's the good stuff. Can somebody tell me which school grew 21%? Somebody shout it out.
Lighthouse Community.
Yes. All right, Lighthouse Charter High School. Absolutely. Which school grew 20%?
Arise.
Arise High School. We have anybody here from Arise? Be proud of that. That's amazing. How about, yes. How about 12%? Which school grew 12%? 12% is a big deal, guys. That's double digits. That's huge.
Horace Mann.
Yes, that's an OUSD school. Let's shout it out, OUSD Horace Mann. All right. And how about 10%?
Prescott.
Prescott, another OUSD school way out in West Oakland. So take a look at this list. I want to see, is your child's school or is your school on this list for growth? And let's just see it in the chat box. Who's making that growth? Do you see your school on here? Do you see a school near your school on here? Not seeing it, Miss Jackie. Not seeing it, Miss Terriana. Not for Miss Daisy either. Not for Doreen. Okay. That must tell us we got some work to do, because really we want all of our schools on this list, right? We're celebrating CSCE made 5%, Melrose 5, Bay Tech 5, Golden State Prep 5. We got some really important, good growing schools on here, right? We don't have to be perfect, but we got to be moving in the right direction, okay? Let's go to the next one, and we're going to look at our math growth. I had to change the slide around because there was actually more schools here. So let's shout out these schools. Do you see the dark green? Those are double-digit growers. That's a big deal. Growing double digits is hard to do. I've been a principal, I've been a teacher. Double-digit growth is really significant. So quickly, Oakland Unity Middle. How much did they grow? Somebody help me out.
25%.
25%. That's huge. That's humongous. That is amazing. Give it up for Oakland Unity Middle. I know we have some students at Oakland Unity High here, but your sister school, the middle school, is killing it with the math growth. How about Ames College Prep High? How much did they grow?
22.
Awesome. Prescott.
18.
18. Yes. Redwood Heights, another OUSD school.
11.
Good. International Community also growing. How much?
11.
Carl B. Monk.
11.
Melrose Leadership.
11.
RM Prep.
10.
Excellent. Burkhalter Elementary.
10.
And how about Emerson?
10.
How about Oakland Academy of Knowledge?
10.
10.
Also 10. And the last double-digit grower is Sankofa, finally at 10%. I see there's some other schools making some really significant growth, and they're also on this slide. So before we move on, let's just give some cheers on your. Let me see some icons. Let's see some Zoom reactions. This is hard work, guys. These schools are really doing that hard work to grow. So let's see a little love. I want to see a little heart. Thank you, Miss Tanisha. She got the little cheer emoji. Who's got a reaction for me? Are you guys not feeling this? Let me see. Are we feeling it? I can't tell.
I'm feeling it.
Stafisha's
I'm
definitely
excited
feeling
because
it.
I'm there.
That's right. You're seeing your school on there. That is exciting. That's what we want to see. Thank you, Miss Jackie. Thank you, Miss Isabel. Thank you, Monica. We're celebrating those schools making that good growth. Good job, guys. All right, let's go to the last one. And we're really ready to get out into breakout groups because we really got to dig into this data. This is we want the best for our kids. And so if this data isn't moving, it means our kids aren't really moving. And so that's what we got to figure out as parents and as youth. How do we agitate a little bit? How do we create some positive awareness and pressure so that this changes? Because this status quo isn't okay. Michael, can you go to the next slide for me? So the question we asked at the end of our last report, with this little amount of growth that we're making as a city, it is not my children that are going to be guaranteed a quality education. It is not my grandchildren. It's not even my great-grandchildren. It would be my great-great-grandchildren to actually be guaranteed a quality education. I don't know about you. I am not that patient. I'm not waiting for generations, and I don't know about you, but this has to change now. And we are the ones we have been waiting for. Okay? Y'all see this graph? You with me on this? Is anybody this patient to wait 4 generations? Is anybody out there? Ms. Fuentes, Marlene, are we feeling that patience? Daisy, you gonna wait 4 generations? Tanisha, you waiting? Luis?
No,
Vivica?
queremos un cambio.
That's right.
Ahora la cosa es ver qué podemos hacer nosotros para cambiar esos números. ¿Cómo podemos nosotros apoyar? Es tiempo de accionarnos, es tiempo de aplicarnos.
100%, 100%. Thank you, Luis. And that's exactly right, Marlene. You know, our kids don't have time. Our kids have one chance at a good education. And so we need this to change, and we need it to change now. So that's right. We have the power. We don't have to wait for anybody. This, one of our values was parents must know, youth must know. Now we know what this data says. The question is, how do we feel about it? And what are we going to do about it? All right, let's go to our next slide and let's get into some small groups, because I know these small groups are going to be popping off. The first thing we're going to do, meet your group. We have amazing leaders here tonight. We have a robust, amazing group. Yeah, do some quick introductions. Then I want you to talk about our first question. First, how do you feel after seeing this data? Because this is emotional for all of us. It does not feel good to see this data. We just need to express those feelings, let it out. Then what stood out to you? What was the part that really is sticking with you? And then we want to ask you, do you think other parents and youth know this data? Do you think they know it? And what would happen if more people knew it? I'm curious. Finally, how could we actually go about sharing this data with more people? All right, and then pick somebody to do the report out. But I've been talking for a long time. You guys are the ones with the power. You're the really amazing, powerful leaders in the room. So I want to get you into those small groups, 15 minutes, so that you guys can really break this data down. All right?
Folks, as we're back here in the main group, let's go ahead and jump back into the English interpretation. So where the interpretation globe is, go ahead and jump back into English. That's going to be super important.
Okay. Hello, Brigham.
Hola, Belia. No la había saludado. ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, gracias.
Sería excelente para que también otros papás se animen a involucrarse más
We had to
en
shoot some
talleres
tests
como
again.
estos.
Awesome. Do we have everybody back?
¿Le gustaría participar, decir esta información en el grupo grande, lo que hablamos aquí, compañera?
¿Yo?
Sí, sí, solamente...
Vengo manejando, por
Oh,
eso
perdón.
me animé a hablar ahorita, porque vengo manejando y sí me distrae un poquito
Ok,
el hablar, pero
Ok,
le agradezco, gracias.
ok. Mm, ¿Alguien más se quiere animar o si no? Nada más a compartir lo que hablamos un poco.
Mayra, ya estamos en el grupo grande.
Ok.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. It looks like I think we have everybody back in the room. So let's go ahead and do a quick little report back, y'all. And again, as a reminder, please go ahead and jump back into the interpretation room. Right? You want to make sure if you're an English speaker, go ahead and put English. If you are a Spanish speaker, go ahead and jump into the Spanish interpretation room. So let's go ahead and hear back from our folks. Let's do a quick little report back. Let's see, Tanisha, Stefisha, did you guys have somebody to do the report back?
I don't know if our power coats are so tailored tonight, but we gonna work on that part. I know there's a brave soul from our group that want to share what we chatted. What you think, Tanisha? Who did it? Who was it?
I think maybe Veronica. Veronica has some good stuff to say too. Tanisha did too. I see her coming off of mute.
Mm-hmm.
Who gonna champion it? Come on, y'all. This is how we create collaborative
Leaders.
power. Yes, Tanisha, tell them.
And we need you to express those emotions.
Yes.
Because you gotta get it out. And when you get it out, that's when we put on our power code. We go out there and we talk about it. We bring our chair and we make our seat at that table. So it's
right.
a process. So you got to talk about it, because when you see the data and as you peel off the layer and really get to understand it, you're gonna get mad some more. You're gonna get sad. You're gonna want to fight, because we're talking about our children.
That's right.
You know how we love on them.
That's right. Christina, I see you shaking your head. Tell us how you feel. Look, she's like, what are you talking to me? Tell us how this made you feel. What did our group chat about?
We talked about the reading scores improvements and not improvements, and the math scores improvements and not improvements, and how we felt when we did or didn't see our schools on the list. And then we also heard a personal story about I guess high schools not having good supervision over the kids, over the high school kids.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Christina. Appreciate it. And thank you. A big shout out to Tanisha Safisha's group. Let's go ahead and go to our youth. Marilla, do you want to your youth?
Yeah, in our group, we had good conversations. Abrar was going to do the report.
Hello everyone. So basically in our youth little breakout room, we just expressed our feelings and our frustration with the data and how we want to exceed beyond that and make sure that throughout this whole thing we are aiming to raise our scores. And we also in the chat I was reading my personal story, me and one of the students, how we transferred from a OUSD school to a non-OUSD school because of the data and because of the struggles. And we just were expressing our feelings, and yeah, that's basically it.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Abrar. Let's go ahead and go to our team with our first Spanish team, Katia and Santiago.
Javi, gracias. En nuestro grupo va a dar reporte Carmen. Es una mamá nueva y queremos darle la bienvenida. Adelante, Carmen, por favor.
Hola, hola, buenas noches a todos. Mi nombre es Carmen Ochoa y mis hijos van a la escuela de Green.
Carmen, está en mudo.
Dios mío. ¿Me escuchan?
Yo sí la escucho.
Oh, yo sí estaba, ya no lo vi, ya lo había quitado, pero creo que no me escuchaba. ¿Ya ahora sí me escuchan? Sí, ok. Vuelvo a repetir, mi nombre es Carmen Ochoa, mis hijos van a la escuela de Greenleaf. Es mi primera vez en este grupo, tratando temas como el que estamos tratando, y para mí sí me sorprendí mucho porque a veces uno como padre no se da cuenta, como dicen otros compañeros, o sea, uno dice, ok, van sus hijos a la escuela y todo, y uno cree que todo está bien, pero no, estos resultados que han estado diciendo ahorita es preocupante. Y como dijo también una mamá, tenemos que tomar fuerza entre todos para que aquí en Oakland la educación esté mejor, ¿verdad? Para que podamos estar a un nivel de muchos lugares que tienen buena educación. También hay muchos temas, ¿verdad? para tratar, pero sí es importante que entre todos levantemos nuestra voz para que Oakland sea en educación también un lugar mucho mejor, ¿verdad? Eso es lo que tengo que compartir con ustedes. Gracias.
Thank you so much for that, Carmen. That was great. And then we have two more groups to see if we can knock these out in 1 minute each. That way we can keep us going. So Marlene and Carmen, would you guys like to shout out your person? Marlene or Carmen?
Creo que fue Marlene Regalado que iba a compartir, ¿no?
Sí, sí, sí.
Es Marlene.
Oh, sí, buenas tardes. Sí, buenas tardes. Nosotros estuvimos hablando de cómo nos sentimos al ver las estadísticas en las que se siguen, en las que se encuentran hasta el día de hoy nuestros niños, tanto afroamericanos como latinos, y de verdad las reacciones siguen siendo de enojo, de tristeza, de frustración, porque seguimos viendo de que no estamos avanzando. Yo creo que al contrario, en vez de avanzar, estamos estancados. y también del impacto que tendría el poder llegar a más familias y darles a conocer a las estadísticas en las que están nuestros niños. Nos encantaría poder generar un cambio de crecimiento en las estadísticas para este 2024. Me encantaría agregar algo más. Si a otras personas de las escuelas les sirve esto, de verdad me encantaría poderlo agregar con ustedes y que lo pudieran tomar en cuenta para poder llegar a más familias. Nosotros en Cox Academy, si Dios nos lo permite, este 22 de enero esperamos ya poder empezar con nuestra primera junta del Concilio de Familias Latinas y así también poder llegar a más familias, darles a conocer las estadísticas y poder hacer que estos padres se interesen más al ver esas estadísticas y querer ayudar, querer formar parte de esto para generar cambios, no solamente en las estadísticas, sino también en la educación de nuestros hijos.
Thank you, Marani. We have so much power in this room tonight. Let's go ahead and get us wrapped up. We got our last group here, Mayra and Madlene. If you guys can call on your person. Let's try to keep it to a minute that way we can, get us going, but definitely want to make sure we give you a chance to chat.
Bueno, en nuestro grupo, hablamos también de las estadísticas y muy preocupantes, pero como hablamos, que hay que ver estas estadísticas no como algo negativo, al contrario, hay que ver algo positivo, que podemos hacer un cambio y que si estamos aquí es porque queremos luchar. Entonces, lo que queremos es, como hablamos entre las compañeras, que somos poco los padres los que nos acercamos a nuestras escuelas y estamos preguntando cómo van nuestra escuela y qué podemos hacer, pero si no, estas organizaciones no existieran o no existieran padres que luchan por una mejor educación, no hubiera un poquito de cambio, como hemos avanzado de un año a otro año, unas escuelas han avanzado. Entonces, como dijimos, necesitamos ser más padres, que estas estadísticas se lleguen a conocer, que los más padres lo sepan y atraer más padres para juntos poder luchar, porque como dicen, cuando ven el distrito o las escuelas que somos muy pocos, no nos escuchan. En cambio, cuando somos un grupo grande, de alguna manera, ellos reaccionan y empiezan a trabajar. Entonces, como dijimos que si nos gustaría buscar la manera de cómo estos datos darlos a conocer con más padres y las compañeras estaban de acuerdo que en nuestras escuelas siempre hay juntas, ahí podíamos aprovechar para empezar a agarrar gente y darle los datos, porque mucha gente realmente no sabe. Mucha gente, como dicen, en este país nomás vienen y depositan al niño en la escuela y no se involucran tanto. Entonces, cuando les das la información, a ver si les cae el 20. Y entonces, como les dije yo, no es negativo al decir, oh, mi escuela, si ves tu escuela y está muy baja, oh, la cambio. No es el problema cambiarla, el problema se queda, es actuar, trabajar ahí, acercarte al maestro, acercarte a la escuela, ir al distrito. Mi escuela necesita esto. Como les comenté, hay muchas escuelas que tienen demasiados alumnos con muchas necesidades especiales o que vienen de otro país con retraso y necesitan más maestros o con más especialistas, por eso no aprenden matemáticas o lectura, porque tienen alguna déficit o pero el distrito no, solamente deposita a los niños a cualquier escuela, pero no les da las bases de una mejor educación o especialistas o más maestros. Entonces las
And
estadísticas no
Mara,
bajan.
Mara, if I can jump in, because I feel like what you're going into is exactly what we're gonna cover in these next couple of slides. But also, we're gonna give you guys some time in your breakout groups to really go into that, right? Because we want you guys to actually start planning. One, how are you guys gonna start talking to other folks, right? Also, how that credential is super important to get that done, right? And then lastly, it's like, how are we gonna make sure that our PLTs and wild Ts and how we're using that structure to make sure that we're getting into our schools, talking to the right people, and so on. So I love what you were saying, and we're gonna get into these next slides because I think we're gonna cover what you're saying right now as well. So thank you for that, Mayra. Now, Benjamin, I want to pass it to you first. That way you can go ahead and introduce yourself, and then I'll go ahead and jump in afterwards.
So thank you, Javi. In case you haven't met me, my name is Benjamin Ceja, and I'm a senior at Oakland High School. And there we also hold I'm a youth leader, which we hold meetings about like FIA, about what we could do in other schools. And the reason why I'm a FIA is to make sure that other youth are aware of the data that Kimmy just shared, which is really important, and also the requirements to graduate A through G eligible in order to attend CSU or UC. I also want to empower incoming students that are new to this leadership and to my school to use their voice and stand up for themselves and also the community as well, just like FIA has taught me. And I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. So my name is Javier Barraza. I've had the privilege of working with Benjamin since he started. Definitely love how he has grown into this strong leader. So please go ahead and show him some love in the chat. But yeah, I'm the youth organizer with Families in Action. I've been a youth organizer now for about 6 years. And for me, this work is super important because we need to make sure that our youth and parent leaders are able to advocate for themselves, right? So in Oakland, when it comes to A through G, right, 60% of Latinx students graduate with their A through G requirements completed, and only 50% of African American students graduate with their A through G requirements completed. So this is why I'm honestly heavily invested in this work. And I just want to make sure that each and every student, each and every parent are able to advocate for themselves. Can we all agree on that? Let's just get some thumbs up if we can agree on that really quick. Because I think that's the reason why all of us are really involved in this work. So if we can go into the next slide. Let's see. Awesome. So in this slide, we really want to touch on a FIA power principle. Now, and the reason why I wanted to jump in, Maida, is because this is exactly what you were referring to. Organizing is about people, and people are about issues. So really quick, if somebody can just jump off mute, and please, before I even get into talking about this, I want to hear from folks, like, what does this make you think about? What does this make you think about when you hear this? Or what does this mean to you? Organizing is about people, and people are about issues. Can somebody jump off and share, please?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, what I think this means what it means to me is that we need people to organize. Like, we need so many people to help organize, but so many people have different opinions, which ruins what we're trying to organize. I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying, but that's what I'm working towards. To organize, you need a lot of people, but the people, they have different opinions and they would want to start issues.
Yeah, I love what you're saying.
I hear you, girl. I hear you.
Yep. Fabiola, I saw you raise your hand. Do you want to go ahead and jump in? Let's get your comment before we move on.
In progress.
Lo que pasa es que cuando se va a hablar de la realidad, para muchas personas son problemas. Por el hecho, por ejemplo, en las escuelas, expongo cuando yo fui a hablar y yo quise hablar con la directora y le dejé la información con respecto a que iba parte de FIA, pues inmediatamente puso el freno. Por el hecho de que creo que como maestros, creo que tienen una organización, entonces para ellos FIA es como un problema. Entonces inmediatamente ponen una barrera y pues ese es uno de los problemas, de que cuando se va a hablar de las cosas reales,
inmediatamente dicen FIA o problema. Eso es todo. Gracias.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Fabiola. Now, there was a couple of folks on the chat who also put some stuff on here. And one that I wanted to shout out was from Monica. Once we organize the people, we organize the issues. And I think that really resonates with me on what this FIA power principle is about. So when we think about this power principle, it really makes me think about the way in which we lead our work, right? We're all working on something we care about. And the way we get to this point of realizing what we all care about is by realizing what's important to people and what their self-interest is, right? And we do this through having conversations. We do this through organizing, people, right? And we do this through a couple of different ways, right? And we're going to get into that. But at the end of the day, we want to discover what people's self-interest is, right? And I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Benjamin to take us through the next part.
Yeah, so what is leader? Real quick, jump in the chat box, please, or I'm gonna call on somebody. Tell us, what does leader mean to you? I'll just call on Mario. I'll call on you. What do you think what is a leader to you?
Hi, I'm Miriam. I'm not sure if I presented myself already. I go to Arise. And for me, a leader is someone who's able to take initiative and able to be like the voice of a whole community and be able to lead an action. And yeah.
Guys, thank you. So actually, your definition of leader is pretty close to FIA's. So which FIA's definition of leader is: a leader is someone who has followers and can ignite that following. So the job of a leader is to build a network.
Quick pause. Yeah, I was like, we can skip one more. And I think one more, right, Benji? There it goes.
Yeah. So yeah, the job of a leader is to, and then you go another one. The job of a leader is to build a network of relationships, which is followers. 2, develop the leadership skills by building an organization team. 3, organize people to wield power in the public arena. So in the past, we've wielded power in the public arena through different actions we had. Can anyone give me an example of when FIA has wielded power in the public arena? Recently, we had one recently.
Our candidate forums.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's one of many ways that FIA has wielded power, in the public arena.
Let's shout that out, man, because that was a huge candidate forum. Tanisha, can you actually tell us a little bit about the outcome? Like, just how many people were in the room? How was it? Just share a little bit about that. We want to highlight that.
The candidate forum, what did we have? Was it 250 or 300 people? All over, from district and charter, educators, parents, and youth. Our second year blowing our record out, the largest candidate forum led by parents and students. Very informative. And it's important to get the message out and make sure we're voting for the right people, so we won't continue to see this data where our children are just stuck, and we're mad and we're frustrated and we're hurt and we want to fight people. So when we had the forum, we're able to get the message. Our parents and people in the community were able to gather information to make sure they are able to vote, a smart vote versus a blind vote for once. So it was wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you. Benjamin, anything else you want to add to this slide?
That was it. That was a very good example of like how what FIA has done to willpower the candidate forums. Again, we do a good job at that, and it's definitely not possible without you guys. We play a big part of it. I'll pass you to Javi.
Awesome. We can definitely jump to the next slide. Boom. So in this slide, power is a product of our relationships, right? So relational power is the currency for change, and FIA's ability to move power and create change is directly proportional to the number of leaders who are able to ignite, right? So think of this person in the middle as somebody who represents, somebody in our community who is deciding to get involved with FIA. They're kind of thinking about it, right? But this is where, a lot of people really are when we first start to meet with them, right? We can jump one ahead, Michael. Let's see, one more. There it goes. So by building a relationship, by building a relationship and listening to others, we better understand their self-interest, right? That's really what we want to capture. Going back to that first, that first slide where we talked about self-interest is super important. And what it is what others perceive to be important, right? Now, these two primary tools, self-interest and relationships, are what we need when it comes to developing a following. All right. These two go hand in hand, right? Now, the way we are going to do this is through one-to-ones, right? Really simple. A one-to-one is a conversation where you will talk to the other person about who you are and what your self-interest is, but also you want to get to know who they are and what their self-interest is, right? That's what we do through a one-to-one. Now, it is also an opportunity to invite somebody to join a team, right? A lot of us have PLTs, a lot of us have YLTs. What these are is parent leadership teams and youth leadership teams that we have on school sites. Now, through a one-to-one, this is a perfect opportunity to invite people to join, right? Now, Benjamin is going to take us to the next slide where we're going to talk more about what these structures actually are and why they're so important.
Yeah, definitely. So you may wonder why Families in Action of FIA organization is at the top, right? Well, we're at the top because we are people who care about the values of quality, equity, and access, which is FIA's 3 values. And that is a part of our own self-interest. And that is the self-interest we can ignite in the folks at our school sites to be brought into the PLTs and YLTs, which again, PLTs is parent leadership teams and YLTs youth leadership teams. If you don't have a PLT and a YLT, you do not have power, which is an organization, which is a fancy way of saying people come together around, share values, and that is our goal. I believe, definitely working together with your parents, students, schools is like definitely a great way to have organization. And so the team is a primary structure for power building, organization building. And our key principle is that we want to focus on here is structure, channel, power. What does that mean to you? Let's I'm gonna call on 2 or 3 people. Y'all want to hop off mute and share what does structure, channel, power mean to you?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all gonna make me call on y'all? Let's go with Gilia.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Sorry, can you repeat your question again?
Yeah, so the question was, one of the key principles that we're focusing on here is structures, channel, power.
Mhm.
We just want to know, like, what does that mean to you? Like when you hear that, what does that mean to you?
I guess like having structure.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to answer it, but like, guess really having structure and like having everything together, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I think you're getting there. You're getting there, right? No, you're on the right track. Angie, you want to help us out?
Everyone. So at UMing, we have a committee of parents, and we work in partnership with our school leadership, and some of our board members, our school board members, to organize when we need to advocate for something important. For example, we had to advocate for facilities, 2 facilities the past couple of years, and we are able to engage our alumni because our school goes up to K-8. So, we don't have like high school kids, but those kids that graduated and are in high school now, we've talked with their parents and asked for some of their help to share their voice. And some of these youth had like little siblings that were at UMing or who were starting UMing. So they brought they're passionate about their school and their education and how they're advocating for the kids. So I think, when you organize as a group and work in partnership with all the other folks at the school and really focus on what the priorities are, it really harnesses people's energy and also helps people, because everyone's busy, right? People are busy, but it helps them focus and give, when I provide guidance as the chair of this committee, it helps people know, okay, I'm empowered now. I know what to do.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Angie. And I think that's super spot on, right? It's a space where we can all get organized, have clear roles and responsibilities, right? And when it comes down to it, for all of us to be on the same page, and that is that structure. And without that structure, right, we're all over the place. But with a solid structure, with a solid foundation, we can use all of our power and maneuver it towards one way, right? So, Benjamin, anything else you want to add to this slide?
No, Andrew said a lot. Yeah, definitely. Like the structure is super important,
Awesome. Great. Let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. Boom. So this is where we're really going to spend a good amount of time in our breakout groups. I want to go quick that we can get us in there, but we're going to focus on a credential. So what is a credential, right? It's evidence that provides the basis for confidence or belief, right? Our personal credential is the first step to developing and organizing a relationship with others. This is our tool, y'all. This is what we're going to use when we're having conversations with folks we know and with folks we don't know, right? We want to credential ourselves. We want to credential FIA, and we want to credential the work that we're doing. All right, y'all. And to do that, we have somebody who's going to give us their own example, and I'm going to welcome Stefisha to come on and give it to us.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. How y'all doing? Everybody all right? I know we almost there. So look, let's talk about it. Personal credential. For me, I think when I first understood like how to build out my personal credential, and we did that through FIA, I found it to be a super, super powerful exercise, you guys. And the reason that I found it to be powerful is simply because allows you to introduce yourself, your mission, and how you're actually going to go about accomplishing it or what you want to accomplish, right? You give a little bit about yourself. So as we kind of look at the credential, you see there's 4 different parts. So if you guys can listen for these parts in my credential, and feel free to give me some feedback in the chat. If it's bad, let me know, and if it's good, let me know too. All right, guys. So pretty much just when it comes to my credential, I typically let people know, I introduce myself and I say, hey, my name is Stefisha Ikwe Walton. I'm a financial literacy advocate and also just a literacy advocate, and I have been for the last 11 years, just in whatever space that I'm in. My wife and I, we have a 4th grader named Carter, and he's in the 2nd grade over at Cox Academy. Now, I'm a college graduate, a retired professional basketball player, and quite honestly, I was born in the city of Vallejo, but I represent Alameda County just the same, right? And the reason that I take so much pride in who I represent is because we fight for each other on a daily basis for what it is we need and for what our children need. As a candidate for the and also just as an active parent in the community, I'm really here to fight for change. I currently sit on the board of directors for Education for Change, and community, I'm a parent leader with FIA, and I take a lot of pride in that. I organize for equality and for change, and that's something that I find a lot of passion and peace in. I was actually one of the parents, along with Vivica and Marlene and a couple of other parents, who had the opportunity to fight for the funds for and it was $28 million. And that was an electrifying, fight. For me, the motivation for doing this work is really just giving back in the way that was given to me. I've had mentors throughout my entire life who were, like really heavy hitting literacy advocates. And they always fought for me to have a better learning outcome and for me to hit my goals and to be past proficiency. And, for me to be properly prepared for the next level, which was college, it did wonders for my life. It opened up doors that I didn't think I would have. So, I work so that I can understand data and the statistics, and so that I can help our children get on track to read by the time that they're in 2nd grade, not necessarily 3rd grade. And I genuinely believe that our children not reading is just as bad as slavery. It's just like mental slavery, right? So my hope is that our children can get excited about reading the street sign, the sign McDonald's, and that, we work diligently as a community to help our kids not just only read fluently and to comprehend completely by the time they're at the end of the 3rd grade, right? And so, I just say to everybody, when you have the opportunity to introduce yourself, have the opportunity to give your credential, make sure that you talk about what you're passionate about and why you do this work. So as we get into these groups, into the breakout groups, I really want everybody to, really share a part of themselves. What's your literacy journey? Why has it, been so important to you? Why are you at where you're at? So in these breakout groups, you guys will have about maybe 15, 20 minutes. And I'm gonna hand it back over to Benji. He can tell you how these breakout groups are going to go. All right, Benji, where are you at? Look, if
All right, so yeah, so again,
who's ready to do a credential? Anybody?
Get 2 of y'all. Let's get
ready to tell somebody who you are and why you here to fight? I hope so.
Yeah, we got to jump in and get 2 of y'all. Let's get to work. So instead of 20 minutes, we're going to do 15 minutes in small breakout groups, right? But y'all, let's get into it. I'm pumped up, y'all. Yeah, I think our co-facilitator will cover it. But let's go ahead and just jump in, y'all. Awesome. So we're still waiting on everybody to jump back in. Let's give folks a second. We're at 35 right now. Awesome. So let's go ahead and just let's get 2 people to do a report back. I know we're running a bit out of time here. I don't want to get you guys out of here too late. But if we can have let's have a youth
Hey,
group.
Javi, I have my parent that's ready to talk real quick. And I told her real quick, her name is Monica. She's gonna come off mute, and we had a great conversation. So go ahead, Monica, give a little bit of a report back of what we went over.
So we just talked about a little bit about our stories, or I can't even remember how to
personal credential. Yeah,
there you go, personal credential. Thank you. So we just talked a little bit about that, and I've shared mine, and if you guys want, I can share with you guys just a little bit about it. It was just who I am, Monica. I have 4 children, 3 of which are in Lighthouse. It's just my motivation for being here is my children. I want them to be at the reading level they're supposed to be at, even above. The reason being, because when I was growing up, I was great. I loved reading. I was always reading. I would read books in like a day and a half. Some books I would just skim through them like super fast. Long story short, when I graduated and went to college, I felt stupid. I could not, like, I had to get different classes because I could not write an essay, and I thought I was at reading level, and I really wasn't. So I don't want my kids to ever feel like that. I don't want any kid to ever feel like that. And I am impressed at how you guys have high school kids on here, and I hope, and I like, this is like the way he's talking, this young man was talking, that's awesome. And I just hope that this program includes many more kids, because when you graduate out of high school, you think like, man, I'm a super, like I was like the highest in the classroom, and you get to college and it's not fair to feel stupid or to feel like why can't I, write an essay that's college worthy or whatever. So that's my motivation.
Love it, Monica. Thank you so much for sharing
Awesome.
that. Let's have a youth. I know we have. Let's go that way we can hear from youth as well. I think it was Fozy. I think you were gonna share back for this part.
Yeah. So my name is Fawzi Al-Arqaban, and I have 6 siblings, and 5 of them are younger than me, and I have 1 older sister. I am representing Kip King Collegiate High School, and I am from Oakland. I've been raised here. I live here. I love Oakland. But the schools, I don't really know about that. But my motivation is honestly my little siblings. Like, I hate seeing that they're not getting the education they need. Like my brother, he's in TK, still doesn't know his ABCs, and I think that's scary because like every kid should know their ABCs, and yeah, it's just terrifying. My purpose is just to have like everyone in my family get a better education because I do come from a family who just like they migrated to America, and just when my parents like they were just having my older sister, which is probably even more terrifying for them because they don't know how like these systems work. But yeah, I just think that my purpose is just to have my family members get a better education.
Hmm. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Folks, let's see.
Javi, tengo a mi mamá más que preparada, Javi. Irma, está lista para compartir.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Last one here. Let's get your parent, Katya, and we'll move on.
Sí, ¿sí me escuchan? Bueno, mi
Yeah.
nombre es Irma Martínez y yo tengo 3 niños aquí en Greenleaf y es la primera vez que estoy aquí y me llamó mucho la atención de que pues yo no estaba enterada de nada de esto, de que cómo están tan bajos los niños en algunos grados y y pues para mí mi motivación es seguir ayudando tanto a mis hijos como a los hijos de mis amigos, de mis amigas que tienen sus niños también para que o sea, seguir pasando la voz para pues porque a veces muchos papás nada más vamos y dejamos a nuestros hijos a la escuela, nos vamos al trabajo y nunca les estamos preguntando por sus trabajos ni cómo van, todo eso. Yo tengo una niña de 6º grado que en realidad sí estaba algo baja, que yo la miraba, que no le estaba poniendo, echando ganas a la escuela, pero me comprometí a estar detrás de ella, estar preguntándole, ya hiciste tu trabajo, ya hiciste tu tarea, a ver, muéstrame, a ver qué es lo que aprendiste ahora. Y pues gracias a eso he mirado cómo ha mejorado sus calificaciones. Y y pues sí, pues yo, pues, es el motivo, pues, de que seguirlos, estar detrás de ellos, no dejarlos solos y pues estarlos ayudando es para que lleguen, pues se gradúen, pues.
Awesome. Thank you, Irma. And I know we are out of time, folks. So if you didn't get a chance to share out, we will make time for next week. But please go ahead and put in the chat if you still like to share. And I'll pass it on to you, Vivica.
Absolutely. Well, this was a powerful session. I don't know about you, but I'm fired up. A lot of these stories from our youth and our parents has definitely encouraged me and inspired me. But, you know, we're all here for a reason, right? We're here to, one, get some great leadership skills and abilities, and also here as well because we all are all of our parents, we're making sure that you are taken care of by going through this institute, right? But there are some requirements for the stipend, right? These are our must-dos, okay? You must attend all 4 sessions of the Leadership Institute and conduct at least 6 one-to-one conversations with other parents, youth, friends, and even neighbors, school district leaders, the board directors, the superintendent, right? You pick it. You want to talk to them? You go ahead and schedule that, right? And so we also have a virtual Alameda County Board of Education candidate forum. The candidacy, the vote for that candidacy is going to be on in March of 2024. We're going to also have, and that's on February 28th, though. The actual candidate form is going to be virtual, so that means it's going to be on Zoom on February 28th. Plus, you have to do at least 3 of the following. Record a FIA testimonial using FIA's new credential, which is your new credential, right? And send it to FIA's team. Submit a FIA testimonial and post weekly 4 times on social media, Instagram, Facebook. If you got a LinkedIn and you a little fancy, you can do that too, right? Also, we have to give personal testimony at an OUSD and ACOE board meeting, right? So OUSD board meetings are on Wednesdays, ACOE board meetings are on Tuesdays. And you have to do that through January and participate in at least one FIA research action. We are going to be having research actions with the candidates at these upcoming elections, and you can be a part of those research actions and asking questions and learning the candidates. And then also you can convene your own youth leadership team, parent leadership team to plan a candidate turnout strategy at your own school, okay? So those are things you have to do to make sure you get them complete. When you get your binders, when everybody gets their nice little binders that's packaged up and coming to you on the mail, you'll have all the things that you need, including all of this information there too. Can you go to the next slide for me? And so our next steps, right? The power is in the practice, right? If you're an athlete like me, you already knew practice was the best time, right? Because you got your skill set together. You got yourself better, right? So I know you haven't received your, a lot of you haven't received your binders yet, but let's make sure that you remember some of the things and that you took notes on today in regards to your personal credential. And there will also be some worksheets to work on a story of self and us that will be guided for you in those worksheets. So we want to finalize your story of self, draft your story of us, and you want to practice that with a family member, right? Okay. And then don't forget, we're going to have a evaluation in the chat that's going to be dropped in a couple seconds. And we need all of you to fill out the evaluation, right? Tell us how we did. Tell us what we need to improve. Tell us what you think might make it better. Tell us what you didn't see that you were hoping to see, right? So give some of that information in the evaluation, and we want to get 100%. So that means all of you tonight. We want you all to fill this evaluation out. This is what helps us make these institutes better and make them more focused towards what the needs are of the parents and what you want to see, right? And then in the chat, give me some, let's get some shout outs real quick. Give me your emojis. Tell me, how are you feeling? Can I get an emoji on how you're feeling? Or you can write it out in the chat box, right? Because I said, I don't know about you guys, but I'm fired up after hearing the testimonials from our youth, after testimonials from some of our parents like Monica, who doesn't want her to go to college and feel like they don't know what they're, they don't know what they're doing after having an amazing run in school and high school, right? And also, what's a glow for session, right? Something that you learned that helps you, that you loved, that really just, oh my God, I loved learning this, whether it's the data, anything, and then a grow. Something that you felt made you become better. Something that you heard that hit your heart that was like, man, I gotta do that, or haven't done that. So let's go ahead, pop this chat out. Let me see. I got Kimmy. Oh, Kimmy, she's feeling extremely inspired, right? We have Doreen. She said the youth were on fire. We got and Aranza saying she's excited. And then look, Stefisha saying happy to get the data, feeling empowered. Who else we got? Thank you guys so much. It's so good to hear from you guys. Christina said this was great information. Mariela looking forward to the upcoming sessions. And then look, let me see. Foja got a shout out. I like to shout out Maria and Mariela and Benjamin. Definitely have strong voices and able to advocate for their community. And Foja, you can do the same thing. Your voice is strong as well. So go on and get together with them other youth leaders and build a youth power team, right? That's what we got to see and what we want to see, especially because the youth will have their vote in next elections for the school board. That's important to know. 16 and up, you can vote in the school board. We're going to that happens. Well, you guys, I want to see who got some information on the evaluation. What we got? How many people have filled it out yet? What we got? Can we get some data, please?
I don't know if we can see the data for this evaluation.
Evaluations yet? We can't see how many complete. All right.
It's not really
I guess we're gonna let them off the hook early. All right.
It's not a Zoom poll, unfortunately, Viv. So it's a link to a web page. We'll have to collect and aggregate that data later. But please, guys, we do encourage you to leave a glow and a grow in the chat so we can see how we can improve on this session. And that'll be you guys' exit ticket for the night. So we can go ahead and get you guys up out of here. And we will see you all next week outside of the lead team. We'll see y'all sooner than this.
Woo woo.
We'll see you guys next week, December the 14th on Thursday for session 2. And we can't wait to go ahead and let's all be great and let's be powerful together. And as you guys get out of here, one last time, let's go ahead and come off of mute and do a little celebration for our first session with all our awesome new faces, powerful leaders and voices that can't wait to get to that work of making change. All right, so the count of 3. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Woo!